All right, so I got a new bike. I got a 2023 KTM 890 Adventure R. I put about 1,000 miles on it already. You can see my modifications to it are pretty slim. I've only put some rally pegs on there, put some better mirrors on there. That's about it. That's all I've done. Added a GPS mount and put a RAM mount on there. That's all I've done. I'm using the Moscow Moto 80 on that bike. I use that on all the bikes that I've had because it's just, in my opinion, they're lightweight. It's a phenomenal product, and it's easy to take on, easy to take off if you go to a hotel and campsite and so forth. Now, okay, let's talk about the differences though between the Husqvarna 701 2020 and the KTM 2023 890 Adventure R, okay? So you might be thinking like, why in the world did he do that? Because as we know, there's a lot of people who are currently purchasing, they're currently purchasing the 701 or 690, trading in their 890. And then you got people doing the opposite, right? They're buying the 890 instead of the 701. So it's like kind of back and forth, right? So I just kind of want to give you my take on my recent purchase. All right, so again, the 701 is it's definitely it weighs about 100 pounds less than the KTM 890 Adventure R. All right, and the reason why I am now trading or selling, correction, my Husqvarna Enduro 2020 is because I felt like at longer distances, it was, you know, it becomes really difficult on the highway. It is not, and I did the Colorado BDR last August, and with a couple of friends of mine, one of them had an Aprilia Touareg, and another one had a 790 Adventure R, which I unfortunately or fortunately was able to ride during the Colorado BDR. And what I noticed with that bike, the 790, or should I say the 890 now, it was so much easier to it kept its weight, and it was able to carry its weight so much better in an off-road setting and on-road setting. It was way more comfortable for me to ride that, whereas the 701, it took more. It's not a comfortable bike per se. Now I didn't change out the seats. I know a lot of people have changed it out to a seat concepts seat, which it's, in my opinion, is a must if you get this bike. Riding the 701 for extended periods of time like we did during the Colorado BDR, where we drove for like, you know, we did it in 4 days from the Four Corners all the way to Wyoming. We did it in 4 days from south to north, and we rode about 12 hours each day. And I'll tell you what, you want you want to change that seat out. It's freaking horrible. There's not a lot of padding in there, and for that seat for the 701, and it will kind of get to you after a while. So, but it handled everything that you needed to do. It's got plenty of power. I wish the 701 had a little bit more bottom end torque and grunt. However, I mean, it went through up all of the passes in Colorado, absolutely, with all the equipment that we had on the Moscow Moto with no problem. Like I said, it's a very, if I didn't say it already, the 701 is very precise. It's got in my opinion, it's got pretty damn precise handling. All right, where the wheel, where you send it is where it goes, man. In sand, mud, and on the dirt roads, no problem, and also the asphalt, obviously. If anything, you know, if you have the, like I do, I have the Ral's tires right here, so they're knobby, and they're just not meant for highway speeds for sure. Now, so I'm trading that out. I got the 890 Adventure R. So what is like the main comparison differences here? The 890 Adventure R has, I think it's an inline twin cylinder, 890 cc's, and it is by far way faster. It's got quick shifter. It's got all of the electronic settings for traction control and ABS that you could ever want. It's really good in that sense. On the 890 Adventure R, I would say that the buffeting at high speeds from the windscreens is the most atrocious I've ever experienced on any motorcycle that I've ever had. I've had a KTM 950, the 701, but be honest with you, the windscreen on the KTM 890 is atrocious. But other than that, it's pretty comfortable. It's way more comfortable than the 701 on the highway. Now, how does it? And it's easy to bypass vehicles and keep a higher rate of speed. I can go 70, 80 miles an hour on the KTM 890, and it also has a cruise control. Whereas, in my opinion, with the knobby tires and everything on the 701, I really don't go comfortably more than anything above 70 becomes, in my opinion, a little bit sketchy. All right, a little wobble and stuff like that, but nothing. And then it doesn't have cruise control too. So if you're driving several hundred miles, you're just pinning that right hand on your gas the entire time, and it becomes kind of a lot. Now let's talk about the specific off-road manners. The 701 compared to the 890. Like I said, you can take the 701 comfortably in sand and dirt and mud without having to be worried a lot. And if you get an I think it's called like off camber, right? And if you get in tricky scenarios, it's easier to get this bike out of trouble than it is with the 890 Adventure R, which is for sure weigh 100 pounds more heavy, wet. And I think it comes in at 450 pounds. Please, I'm sorry about this if I get the weight all down wrong. But the suspension on the 890 compared to the 701 off-road, I would say it's really good actually. The 890, once you like I put the Moscow Moto 80 on there, and it carries its weight really well off-road. Way better. In some cases, I think it's better to have more weight on there than less weight going off-road. And I'm talking about dirt off-road with some pebble rocks and stuff like that. Washouts, light sand. For those type of routes, this bike is really, really damn good. Now, in soft sand, oh my gosh, this thing is not the bike you want to ride in its current setting. Okay, remind you, in the current setting. I have the original Mitas tires on there, and they're not, let me tell you what, they are not meant for going in deep sand or mud or any of the sort. And as a matter of fact, right now, I kind of stay away from those type of roads that have those kind of conditions, because let's take a look at that real quick. So the tires, the Mitas right here that originally come with the bike, they are just I feel like the front end washes out immediately and you almost like lose control, and even in the rear. So I've gotten stuck in the most inconspicuous places of all when I've been riding the KTM 890. And rather than, I mean, literally here the other day, I got stuck in an intersection where there was deep sand and the tire wouldn't go forward. It just literally dug down, 2 or 3 feet, and I had to put it on the side. I had to jiggle it out of there and maneuver it so it could actually get out of there. And it was a freaking nightmare. So for sandy conditions, I think, and muddy conditions, you need a decent off-road tires. I mean, most riders in where we live here in El Paso, they really like the Mitas Ral's tires, or the desert tire from Mitas, because they're able to dig in and push the vehicle forward, which you're just not able to do with these tires. Now they're good for on road, right? And dirt roads, slight dirt roads, you know, no problem. But once you get into anything deep or slicky, the KTM 90, I don't know why they come with this kind of tire to begin with. They need to be changed out immediately, and that's my first upgrade that I'm going to be doing. So that's really the street manners compared to the off-road manners on the KTM 890. So here we are, right? About to sell this bike right now, and then I got the KTM 890. So like I said, I'm gonna get some off-road tires for this bad boy, and then I'm also gonna get a new skid plate. I think I'm gonna get the Outback MotorTech, to be honest with you, and then the guards, the engine guards or the fuel guards, because I like the way that it looks, and they're a good company, and I like their products. So that's it. Please, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the differences between the two, please let me know. I'm lucky, blessed, you know, to be able to have both of them parked in my garage right now, driving them both, and having driven them for quite a, you know, driven them a little bit. I know how they both feel and act, and maybe I can answer some questions for you if you're interested in getting either one of them. Now, before I let you go, I just want to show you what I did to the navigation stuff right here. So right here, I had a RAM mount, which I keep my phone on, which, if you didn't know, the KTM 890 has a USB connector in there on the left side, and also a 12 volt cigarette, you know, plug in there, or lighter charger there as well. This is the original screen, obviously, but what I did, I have the 396 LMT Garmin right here, which fits just perfect on there. How, you know what I did? I didn't get one of those Vanash parts. What I did, a guy offered literally a 3D printed part. I think it was like 50 bucks off Facebook, and I got it. And it's, to be honest with you, that thing is phenomenal, man. Absolutely no issues standing or sitting or whatever I'm doing. It's always in the right where I need it to be. And I was able to follow, I think it's like Ericsson's guy on YouTube. He was able to show his viewers on how to connect the GPS going through the open holes here, and then eventually into the side right here, directly connecting it to the battery. And that's about it, man. Like I said, if you have any questions, please let me know about either about this 890 or the 701. I don't have any experience on the KTM 690, unfortunately, but they say that the 701 is pretty much the same bike. So that's it. Thank you for watching the video. Appreciate it. Have a good day.